Deep in the shadows, I know it's hard to put one foot in front of the other.
Hi guys, CeeChronicles here, back again with another fragrance video. If you're new on this channel, I post fragrance related content and would very much appreciate it if you did decide to join the family by subscribing. Now, to those who are returning, thank you so much for coming back. I did have a request some time ago when somebody said, could you bring us youthful fragrances, because we are already preparing, like to purchase for the festive season and stuff. I know it's not yet near festive season, but of course, if you have a huge family and stuff, you would want some of these recommendations so that you have your list there of where to start. Now, these are fragrances that are going to have sweet elements, sugary elements, fun elements, youthful elements within them, because they are targeted, or at least to my nose, they're the sort of fragrances that if you gift a youngster, they're absolutely going to love. First one is going to be from the house of Emperor, and this is Lady Presidente. If you don't mind the appearance and everything, this is going to be your quintessential tropical scent. It is built around that mango, a juicy mango. This gives me a very realistic mango, some nectarine together with some raspberry. So what you're just going to get from this is a fruit punch, a youthful fragrance. This is a realistic mango, actually. Let me just spray this, okay? This is young, this is sweet, this is beautiful. I can see even a grown person loving this, but it just has that youthful vibe, mood lifting style of feel in it, where it's candied. It's very candy forward there, and it has a realistic, juicy fruitiness to it. So it's certainly a recommendation. Number one there. If you haven't tried this, do try it. If you can get your hands on Emperor, you can purchase decants of some of these fragrances, guys, off Hyg Scent. I'm going to put their link in the description for those who would like to maybe get decants first before they can dive in, just to save yourselves money. The next fragrance that I would like to recommend here is Rave Now, and this is the pink one, guys. Built around marshmallow, berries, strawberries. What you're going to get here is a creamy strawberry scent. There is an unmistakable creamy wrap up to this fragrance that makes it young at heart there, with that marshmallow kick and a fruity kick. There are some florals, but they're not the star of the show. So this just speaks young to my nose there. So if you're looking to gift one of the youngsters in your family there, or somebody who loves very girly style of fragrances, then Rave Now, the pink one, is certainly a recommendation that I'm going to drop out there. The next one is going to be from the house of Maison Alhambra, and this is Oasis. Very little is spoken about this fragrance, maybe because Maison Alhambra didn't distribute it enough. I don't know. This is drawing inspiration of Ursa, right? Not Ursa. There is Ursa by Tiziana Terenzi, and then there is Ursa, right? The Ursa comes in a bottle that is colored like this, and that's what you're going to get basically from this fragrance, guys. It smells a lot like that. Caramel, coconut, berries, vanilla. It's creamy to an extent, very fruity there, right? The only thing I can say about this one, just to give you a heads up, is if you have purchased one of their, or if you have that Latafa Confidential, which draws its inspiration from Tiziana Terenzi's what? What's the name of that? Tiziana Terenzi. Kirke. All right. If you have that, it kind of vibes like Kirke, but of course that Ursa, that Oza also vibes like Kirke. You will have that footprint where you know that it is kind of like a continuation of the Tiziana Terenzi fruity fragrances, that sort of thing. But I picked this one, guys, because of its candid accord, its fruity accord, its fun accord. This one can be a good serving for all ages, not necessarily just young. It can be a good serving for all ages, but it is that pronounced creamy fruitiness that I thought anybody who is, if you're looking at gifting somebody who is young, they will probably find this one very nice and yummy smelling there. So it is Oasis, guys, from the house of Maison Alhambra. I hope you can be able to get your hands on this one, because I hardly see it on a lot of websites. Now, the next one, guys, is going to be this one, Kahir Pistachio. I was about to say Kahir Fusion, but if you are to get Fusion as well, that is not bad as well. It's built around lychee and stuff, but this one is built around the pistachio, ice cream, sugar note, Lucum sweets, cream, if I'm not mistaken, like real cream and all that, okay? And the pistachio here is a little bit green, not as nutty, but little bit green. And yes, pistachio does, does interpret as green to the nose there. So yes, that is what you're going to get. This one has a sweetness that is amplified to an extent that any youngster is going to be drawn to that sweetness. It is because of that sweetness that I personally found it very hard to carry, and it ended up being Maima's fragrance. She has two of them actually. Let me show you the other one. This is the second one, because I'm just noticing it now that I'm raving about the one. Oh my God, I've just dropped something there. I've just noticed it now that I'm raving about the one that's actually almost empty. Okay, this is the one I should be holding here. So we're probably gonna use this in bloopers, aren't we? I personally wouldn't call this one my favorite, in as much as I've got two bottles in front of me here. One is finished, one is semi-finished. These ended up becoming Maima's fragrances because that's why they're here, actually. The sweetness in here is a little bit overboard to an extent. I felt if my daughter loves it so much and I have a problem with it being too sweet, then it is certainly a fragrance I can recommend on this list if you're looking at gifting somebody who loves sweet, youthful fragrances. Another one that's a no-brainer for gifting somebody who's young. I'm not sure about the presentation though, because maybe it might be a little bit too intimidating if you're looking to gift it to somebody who's young. But at the same time, if we have to contrast that very point, it could be that this same presentation is going to wow somebody because it will be unexpected. Sweet Surrender from the House of Paris Corner is built around the sweets, that sugar note, sugar, cacao, citruses. That is what you're going to get. So if you have somebody within your family or friends that like sweet fragrances, they're certainly going to love this one. They're going to be smelling of wafts of chocolate all day and wafts of something that feels like icing sugar all day. So who doesn't like that, guys? So Sweet Surrender from the House of Paris Corner is certainly a recommendation on this lineup. Our next one is going to be, of course, from the house of Lattafa. We always talk about Lattafa here, and Lattafa will always have a soft spot, in my collection, because I started with Lattafa and branched off to all these other houses, discovering them one by one. It was Lattafa that actually, was in my face in my country, and I thought to explore this fragrances, and it is courtesy of Lattafa that I then dived into Middle Eastern fragrances. Now, this Mocha Silky Rose shouldn't make you worry much about the rose. It's not really the rose per se that then builds this fragrance. It's actually vanilla, a sugar note, a sparkling lychee there, and some musk. But all those interpret into, again, something that feels like icing sugar, something that feels sherbety, something that feels sweet there, something that is very candy-like, right? I hate opening it because this tassel always falls off, but there is a candy wrap-up to this fragrance that's going to be a no-brainer if you're purchasing it for the purposes of gifting it to somebody who's young. But of course, it is going to have that feminine feel to it because it does feel pretty. It is basically a pretty fragrance, if you know what I mean, something that's gonna make somebody smell sweet and yummy, and those are mostly the compliments that they're gonna get when they're wearing this. The next one that I feel has got a youthful candy accord that you could consider purchasing for somebody who loves candy forward fragrances or loves, young at heart, fun, flirty type of fragrances, is gonna be this one. So Candid has got the berries there, I think especially the raspberry, but there is a bubblegum accord in this fragrance and a little bit of a coconut thing that goes on in there, but it's mostly that bubblegum thing, where you feel as though you had those hubba bubbas, you were chewing on those hubba bubbas. This is how this one feels. Unfortunately, the lasting power could be better, but of course for the price, who cares? So that is another recommendation that I have for you here. The next one that you could look at putting on your list is going to be Noof from the House of Paris Corner. Make sure this person that you're going to purchase Noof for loves pineapple toned fragrances. This draws its inspiration from that Dolce & Gabbana pineapple. And if you've seen that bottle, you will know that it does look a little bit juvenile, because of that pineapple top. They just put out like a plastic pineapple top on that. The pineapple actually has a lot of pages, if I may extend. There's going to be a tropical feel, right? Coming from the same pineapple pineapple. Shifts again to be a little bit fresh. And then there's a vanilla inclusion in that, okay? So it's going to be a fun, fresh, fruity, tropical style of fragrance with a vanilla kick to it and all that nice stuff. So thought to recommend Noof here as one of those fragrances you may want to gift somebody who is young at heart. The next one, guys, is going to be Viva Viola. The bottle itself says it all. This is just a fun bottle to look at, beautifully done there. This is going to be your serving of a fruit, of a little bit of some fruits, a little bit of some florals. Everything in here is careful, but it does have the caramel note, which is why it's here. This is not one that I would say is very, very candy forward. It's on the safe side, if you know what I mean. So this is going to be maybe for that type of person who loves who loves girly fragrances, but without really having them sticky sweet or juvenile sweet or something like that. With a touch of florals, touch of fruits, touch of freshness, everything there. Just a nice crowd-pleasing DNA, if I may add. Viva Viola from the house of Ajmal. And then we have, of course, from the house of Kadlaj, Harim Al Salan. But I have to be honest with you guys, I actually prefer the oil than I prefer the actual perfume. The actual perfume, if I'm not mistaken, is a 2024 release. If I am, then it's a 2023, late 2023 release. This was off popular demand, you know, to Kadlaj to an extent that they had to package it as a perfume because their oil went viral. And I will still stick to the oil. But for the purposes of this video, I'm going to say, depending on who you're purchasing it for, because if you're purchasing it for a youthful, young person and stuff, maybe they will not actually like or dig the oil, but the oil is going to give you a better representation of this to me comes across as less sweeter. It does have the sweetness, okay, like a fun fruity sweetness, but it just comes across as a little bit, you know, tamed there, like in a perfumey way, where the oil in itself is, here's your jammy sweetness, have a nice day. So it's going to depend on who you're purchasing the fragrance for. Yes, it vibes the same. It does feel like a continuation of that oil, just in a perfume concentration this time, but I will still stick to the oil, you know, if you ask me. But of course, for the purpose of gifting, maybe to be on the safe side, you may want to purchase the Harim Al Salan as a from the house of grandeur. I'm not going to take anything away from them, in as much as I do not have a lot of fragrances in my collection. This Candy Rose is just one of those crowd-pleasing, safe fragrances. This I put for the sake of, you know, say you are stuck, you just want a fragrance that's going to be crowd pleasing, nothing complex about it, a serving of some sweetness there, some candy nuances there, you know, fruity nuance there, floral nuance there, but generally a fragrance that's difficult not to like because it just has that like me kind of nature. Then this is one that you may want to consider to purchase for, you know, somebody who is young at heart. It's from the house of grandeur and it's called Candy Rose. This I just had to drop here because I know if I don't, then I would have not, you know, made a very, what can I call it, like a thorough list of the fragrances that are really going to be amazing for gifting in the festive season or for birthdays or something like that. Athena is built around vanilla. If you love vanilla or you know somebody who loves vanilla fragrances, yummy, they're going to love this. It's a little bit aromatic, but the aromaticness doesn't take over. It's mostly going to be your sweet, yummy scent. So certainly a fragrance I would recommend, you know, for gifting. If you know somebody who loves to smell sweet, they are definitely going to dig this one. Now, second from the last, guys, is going to be Atlantis. Please take note that there is one called Atlantis Coral that comes in a pinkish bottle. Don't let the color of that bottle fool you. This is a better, you know, version for somebody who is young, but still, having said that, I'm going to say 18 and over. But the coral, the pink one, gives me like a mature, really like a powdery, mature style of fragrance there that may not even be safe at all, you know, in this category. But if you're looking at some, you know, purchasing a fragrance that's going to look cute on somebody's dresser that they're probably going to love because it has that candy accord, as much as it has citruses and aquatic feel and some fruity feel, it does have a candy accord. So that candy accord is one that's going to tick the boxes for anybody who loves, you know, those nice marshmallowy scents, you know, fluffy scents. So yes, certainly one that you can purchase, you know, for somebody who's young at heart. I wish I could show you my dent on this one. I really wish I could. No, I can't. It's somewhere there. I love this fragrance and Mima loves this fragrance. It's not juvenile. It's not like childish, but it just has this nice feel, almost vibing in the same way as this, but not the same. All right, it's not the same, but kind of has that finish where it's kind of powdery, baby powderish, and icing sugarish and candyish, that sort of thing. So certainly purchase this one. Make sure you get the Atlantis one, the blue one, not the pink one, because a lot of you guys are going to be tempted to get the pink one because, of course, pink, girly, that sort of thing, but it's got something there that's a bit vintage. Okay, the last one is going to be Rare Passion, and let me say, this one has a weird opening, and that opening gets into the mid and the dry down, and it lasts like that weird vibing for about 6 hours, 7 hours in. This is a long-lasting fragrance, right? Weird. Okay, but why did I put it here? I put it here because way later in, I can swear that there's a Gucci Rush thing that I get in here, that Barbie doll, synthetic plastic Barbie doll head thing that everybody who loved Gucci Rush loved it for. Gucci Rush has been discontinued, so I had to make sure that I give you a story when it comes to this, so that you don't just rush and purchase it, maybe for a 13-year-old or 15-year-old or somebody who's under 20, and they're like, what the heck? Because when you spray like this for the first time, it just gives off like a very mature, weird, powdery, musky thing going on there, light sweetness and whatever. But it dries down into that Barbie doll head, feel of a fragrance. But do take note that this dry down I'm talking about is way later. So if you purchase this one mistakenly, maybe for somebody young, just teach them to spray it first, maybe 2-3 hours before they wear their clothing, and then after that they will enjoy the fun part of Rare Passion from the house of Avnan. So those are the fragrances that I thought to recommend, guys, for anybody who's making a list of fragrances to purchase for gifting, for birthdays, for the festive season, or anybody who just loves youthful fragrances in general. These fragrances have got that, sweet kick in them, where if you love sweet fragrances, they're definitely going to do it for you, of course, with the exception maybe of that Rare Passion. CeeChronicles is my name. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's meet in the comment section where we discuss more about fragrances. Remember to turn on post notifications, guys. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Like and share this one, and remember that smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.